Hey, what's up guys? How's it going? Haven't made a video in a while, but I've been playing the 2xKO Alpha Lab and I've been just having a ton of fun. It is super great. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself when the beta ends, but yeah, here we are. So I have been playing, to no one's surprise at all, Yasuo, because I really enjoy stance characters. I played Narmaya and Grand Blue, I played Johnny and Guilty Gear. Samurai, swordy, stance characters are just sort of my jam. So I am going to quickly put together everything that I've learned. It is the last day of the Alpha Lab today. So I'm going to put together everything that I've learned throughout the entire Alpha Lab into a video. Hopefully you guys can learn something. Hopefully my future self can learn something again when the game comes out and I'm reviewing this video to try to remember how to play this character. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and skip through the basics. I'm going to assume you know how to play the character. So, you know, I'm assuming that you understand how his stance works and all that stuff. So I'm just going to go straight in and cover some broader topics like neutral, pressure, some hit confirms, and some like basic combo structure stuff that we can talk about later. So let's jump right in. So the first thing I want to talk about is how you should sort of play him in neutral. One thing that I think people should utilize more is just throwing up windwall and leaving it there whenever they have a moment of breathing room. I think windwall is a super powerful tool actually, just to create pressure, because it threatens a lot of different options that your opponent really has to respect. Between this move, which they will have to either jump over or hold block, or this move, which can safely help you approach with an assist at medium ranges. And it can force your opponent into scenarios that they're not so comfortable with, force them to jump at you or do certain things just by conditioning them that like, hey, this is here and you're gonna have to deal with it. Also, just like a really powerful tool to deal with, like, you know, there's a couple pretty degenerate projectiles in this game, specifically this move, and this move is a little bit degenerate. So having a wind wall out just sitting there to help you take up space and deal with that, I think is a really powerful tool. So yeah, use wind wall. In terms of other parts of neutral, Yasuo does have some really solid poke tools, which you can keep yourself safe with and even confirm some hits off of. With your stance cancel. So this move is super long range. It's really nice. It doesn't confirm into anything, but you can cancel into down heavy, which can then confirm into something. Something like that. I forgot to mention you can also confirm off of this if it lands. Something like that. And then you also have this 2M move, which doesn't have as much range, but does let you follow up with additional hits if you land it. So also a really reasonable poke tool to sort of stuff approaches. So yeah, lots of decent long range pokes, which can even confirm into more damage if you land them. Just remember to try and keep yourself safe with your stance as much as possible. It does sort of suck that you can't cancel in the stance if you whiff the move. So just be wary of that. Spamming certain moves can be a little bit tough. If your opponent is jumping a lot, you also have a couple different options. 2H is pretty decent for catching jumping opponents. It does have, it seems like, some slight amount of intangibility, but the hitbox is a little bit inconsistent and doesn't always pop up, so it's a little bit tough to use sometimes. Generally, if you catch them higher in the air, you just want to like do jump H. It's not the most consistent hitbox, so I tend to like doing more air-to-air stuff, which allows you to combo into S1, S1, S2, and then you can actually pick it up and do more damage from there. Something like that. We'll talk about like specific combos later, but just in terms of like air-to-air stuff, generally a good idea to get them onto the ground and confirm into more damage. In terms of this S2 tornado move, I think it's okay. It's a little bit hard to use in neutral just because I think it is kind of slow, so it's best used with sort of like an assist of some kind. Use it to cover your assist coming out. And if you want to tag, then you can definitely use it to make space and force your opponent to block, so they're not like smacking your assist just as it comes out. But otherwise, there's not a ton of uses for it that I've found in neutral, just because it's kind of slow. It is nice that you can sort of throw it out, back up a little bit, and then still proc it from far away using the charged version of this move. But yeah, it's not always the most useful, but it's a nice trick. But anyway, yeah, so I think this tool has better applications for like Oki and stuff with an assist. But generally, yeah, this is a move you want to be using with an assist or with your partner coming in to do something like that. Okay, so let's talk about Yasuo's pressure. So Yasuo doesn't have a ton of very true mix-ups like Echo does, like true 50-50s. But what he does have is a lot of mobility and the ability to threaten strike throw a lot based on his pressure structure. And he has a lot of like frame traps and places where you might think that you can press, but you really can't. Layer that in with a bunch of different cross-ups, and you really have a lot of opportunities to keep your opponent guessing if you really pile up on their mental stack with your movement and confuse them with weaving in and out and sort of keeping yourself safe with your cancels and poking them from a little bit further away, and then switching it up by approaching and then getting that grab in. And the cool thing is that he can even combo out of grab even on his own without an assist. So it does offer you a decent opportunity to get some additional damage in. You can even tag in a super at the end if you get that damage. So, but in general, just remember that in terms of like solo Yasuo play, you can pick up a lot of stuff that is on the ground with his stomp move. So, you know, things like this. Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to like trap your opponent. In general, you want to make use of your stance cancel as much as possible. Obviously, out of your stance cancel, you have a bunch of different options. You've got a cross-up option. You've got a small hop, which would put you in the air, which can cross up at really close range. And then you have this way to cross up with his charged S1. And then you also have your Rekka series, which crosses up and can be good to use with an assist. As always, you can always end these with a grab if your opponent isn't expecting it. So definitely lots of tools to mix your opponent with. You do have to be a little bit more creative and make sure that you're very comfortable with stance canceling your moves to keep yourself safe. But the cool thing is that if your opponent ever presses a button or tries to jump out, you have lots of ways to catch them. And then once they're conditioned to sort of hold block during your pressure strings, you can do something like a stance dash forward grab and things of that nature. So make sure that you're practicing your mix-ups, your strike throw mix, and your left-right mix. And then he also has his charged S1, which you can actually pick up afterwards with confirm if it lands. And if it doesn't land, you can still cancel it into either a backdash of some kind or another charge heavy to try and continue your pressure and things like that. So lots of things to get comfortable with, but definitely really deep bag of tricks. But he definitely has a lot of different tools that he can use to keep your opponent guessing. Okay, so I want to quickly talk about Okizeme. Oki in this game is a little bit interesting because of the universal wake up attack, but Yasuo does have a couple ways to get around it and pressure safely from range. First of all, he's got a couple really big buttons that allow him to sort of safely pressure wake up. So typically the wake up attack has universal invincibility. So if you watch here, if I try to do a meaty slash on her as she's waking up, I get beat. But if you delay it slightly, you can counter hit the wake up attack and follow up for additional damage. You can also use his S2 special, Turbulent Wind, really nice for beating options without committing and sort of leaving a hitbox that's lingering on top of them as they wake up, forcing them to either hold block or they get hit, and you can sort of call an assist behind and either tag in for additional pressure or continue your combo if you land a hit. I did learn a cool trick the other day, is that you can actually parry the wake up attack, which is super fancy and probably a little sweaty, but it is cool that you can do it. So if you get the hard read and you're feeling super sweaty, that's a fun option you can use. It also beats wake up super, which is pretty cool because that's a pretty scrubby option that I feel like a lot of people use. So having a nice flashy way to take your turn back and call people out is pretty cool. So. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is combo structure. So with Yasuo, this game is really freeform, so the sky is really the kind of the limit. There's a lot of different options depending on what level of difficulty you want, and depending on how sweaty you want to get, you can certainly increase the amount of damage you can do with longer and more technical combos. But just for those who are trying to get into the character, I'll just give you some super basic starter options and then maybe show off a couple more advanced combos that allow you to get some more damage. Also, a lot of it has to do with your fuse, but I've seen some insane stuff on Twitter and whatever, and I think the most important thing is finding a combo that works for you that you can land consistently, because it doesn't matter how fancy your combo is and how optimal it is, because if you drop it into the middle, then it doesn't matter. So the most important thing is finding a combo that you can do consistently. So the most basic Yasuo combo is obviously light, medium, heavy into launcher, light, medium, heavy, S1, S1, S2, and then they land on the ground. And you can sort of spice it up however you want from there. You can add his down heavy in the air, which gives you a little bit more damage. And after they land on the ground, you can continue it a little bit with your stomp if you want to try and practice that. And that forces them to air tech, which is slightly different than a ground tech. So this is probably the safest combo for you to start with because it's safe on block. After you're down forward heavy, you're pretty safe. It's hard for them to punish, and usually you can block their next attack, which is not the case for his S1, S2 launcher, which leaves you very negative and very easy to punish. So, because you don't want to accidentally start with S1, S2, because you're not necessarily hit confirming, and then get punished for it. But once you are comfortable hit confirming your combos, the forward S1, S2 launcher does give you access to his more damaging combos. Typically after S1, S2, you want to do a charge S1, and then you want to cancel it into the stance medium. And then after stance medium, you have a couple different options. You can jump cancel stance medium. So if they're in the air, you can jump cancel it, not on the ground. That's kind of a unique thing to XKO. Certain things are jump cancelable at certain times. But anyway, so you can either jump cancel it and follow up with another forward heavy. So you can sort of rinse and repeat there, or you can just do medium heavy and then catch it however you want. After the medium heavy, you have a couple different options to pick it up again. I've seen people pick it up with the charge slash. I've seen people jump into the air and catch it. You can also just stay on the ground and do like another launcher. One super convenient way that I found, because the spacing after you pick up from there is pretty difficult, but if you just dash a single time, then it'll set you up perfectly for your tag launcher. So dash once and then medium tag launcher. So that seems to be a really reliable way to continue the combo, and it puts you into the other character. Usually you can do pretty straightforward aerial combo with your other character for some additional damage. Something like that. Some of the more advanced combo routes go straight into the stance medium and then start doing some loops, which you can learn if you would like, but those are definitely a bit more on the technical side, so I won't go super deep into those. But yeah, so that's sort of the foundation of Yasuo's combos. Alright, well that pretty much wraps up everything I had to share for this video. I hope this was informative to you. I definitely feel like I've only really scratched the surface with this character. There's still so much more to learn. I'm still terrible at like using my assists well, and obviously there's so much tech depending on what fuse you use and what character you're pairing it with and so on and so forth. But I think this has been a really fun foray into the character and just getting some hands-on playtime, and it has just honestly been so much fun playing this game. So really excited for the full launch, and hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, feel free to subscribe. I might do more guides in the future when the game comes out, depending on what characters they release. But yeah, really appreciate your support, and I will catch you guys next time.